everybody, and welcome in to the Super Bowl podcast, episode number 14. My name is Braden Dorman. Alongside me, David, Daniel, or Dylan Arnold.
One of the three.
And Harper, the Hawk.
Whatever
Sorry about that intro, but you just got to kind of roll with the punches at some point. We also have another person here with us today. It is a special guest, and I'm going to let David introduce her.
Yeah, so today we have a very special guest on the Super Bowl podcast, Avery Macktinger. She is a track and field athlete for our Grand Canyon University Antelopes. What really stands out about you, Avery, is that you are super bold in your faith, and you put Jesus first. So welcome to the show.
Thanks, guys. I'm very excited to be here. Finally.
Excited to have you.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Sounds like she's been waiting to get on, just itching to get on.
I have been itching. I'm a huge fan, so.
Really, since the beginning of this podcast, she's been one of the few people that I've talked to about it, and I know she's going to crush it today. She's got an awesome story.
Thanks.
So,
Well, as always, before we get to that awesome story, we're going to do something fun with sports. And we're going to talk track and field. And that may not be something that's necessarily our forte, but
Mine either.
We'll find out.
we're going to find out. Similar to an earlier episode, we're going to have this man right here kind of give us some
Host.
trivia questions.
Yep.
And today, it's going to be the Hawk and I against Avery in some track and
man.
field trivia. Without further ado, I'll let the host take it away
Alrighty.
here.
do it, yeah.
Well, welcome back to the second edition. It's an honor to be here and not be a contestant because I would probably embarrass myself. Before we get into it, I would love to hear past experience with track and field from everybody here. So we'll start with you, Harper.
shout out to Cedar Bluff. I was on the, I don't even know what the relay was, but I was on a relay because I was one of the 4 fastest in our grade. So
Solid.
going back to elementary school, that's really
Awesome.
all my experience.
Prime time.
So
Mine would be I did junior high track for 1 year. I was honestly probably pretty decent at it, but also I hadn't quite hit puberty yet, so I just wasn't that fast. Eventually, I did hit puberty, thank the Lord, and
Are you sure?
I did get fast.
I'm sorry. I had to.
It's all right, then. We'll
come
let
on,
the audience
man.
decide, I guess.
Oh, man.
So eventually I was fast, but when I was in 7th grade track, I wasn't as fast. Again, slightly successful. But then I was just like, I don't like this pressure. I got so nervous before each event. And I didn't really do many throwing events, which
Yeah.
may have a little less pressure. I don't know. I probably shouldn't say that, but the running ones,
Doesn't sound like it.
the running
They're all
ones
pressure.
for sure. I was like, oh, I hate this feeling I have in my stomach. Like I'm just gonna let myself down. I don't know what it was, but I was pretty good at some other sports, and I kind of put track and field to the side. So that's my experience.
Great.
And a very short answer, as always.
Yeah, I know. You always amaze me. So, Avery?
Oh, man. Okay. I did track way back. I was a cross country runner, believe it or not, way back in the day. Also, pre-puberty, I was really fast.
Nice.
I also probably weighed like 70 pounds. And so distance was my thing. And I also played soccer too, so that kind of helped cardio-wise because I
Yeah.
can barely run 2 laps now without having an asthma attack. But yeah, I did distance and cross country probably 4th grade on, and then I did track. I think once I got to middle school, I could do track. So 6th grade on, and I still did distance events, but I would do sprinting too, just because why not?
All right.
But now I do track. Oh, in high school too. I did track in high school.
A lot of
That's how I
experience
got
versus
here.
no experience. And that's what we
Yeah.
love here.
And all I'm going to say before we start is you got all the pressure. And me
I
and Norm
really
are just
feel it.
playing with house money here.
I really
I
feel
love
it.
that, using my term. House money.
That's right.
All right. Well, without further ado, we'll get into question 1 for Braden and Harper. And I will give about 20 to 30 seconds of elaboration, collaboration. Anyway,
That is
here we
the right
go.
word.
That is correct. Braden and Harper. How many hurdles are in a standard hurdles race?
Yeah. So hurdles.
You don't even know?
Hurdles
Okay.
are usually 100 or 110. I
Yep.
actually did hurdles in 7th grade.
Oh,
I'm thinking like,
I think it's 10, bro.
I think it's 10 too. Charles, I hope you're watching. I don't know if you are.
Hi, Charles.
But he was my roommate.
Yeah.
He did hurdles. That was his thing.
Yep. So
I
you should
think
know.
10 sounds right. I think 10 sounds right. Because
Well,
you're right, it's
yeah.
100 or 110.
Well, and think about it. If it's 110, it's not like they're doing a hurdle at the
Right.
very end.
It's
There is
every
that
10.
10 at the
Yep.
very end, so I think it should be 10.
I think it's, I don't
I
even
think that's time, surely.
Yeah,
we'll
I
say
mean,
two.
that's
Really,
it.
that's
That's
fine.
it.
I think
we'll
we're ready
take
to lock in.
All right, and for every time, here's what we're gonna do. Since it's a little controversial last episode, I'm gonna ask, is this your final answer? That doesn't mean you got it right or wrong.
We're locking in.
But so
Yes.
what's your guys' answer's 10,
10
and
hurdles.
that's your final answer.
Yes.
That is correct.
Oh, my
Congratulations, guys. I'll admit I would have not got that right. I would probably said like 8 or 9. So
Well, it helped that you kind of remembered from junior high.
Yeah, my large amount of experience.
Shout out
All right.
Charles. You helped me through that one.
all right, Avery, this one's gonna be a little harder, and I'm sorry. But I'm gonna give you a 10-year range, and I'll explain here coming up. So, in what year was the javelin first included in the Olympic Games?
gosh.
And so I'm going to give you a range of 10 years prior and 10 years after. So it's a big range.
Oh,
But
20-year range.
yeah,
actually.
basically, yeah. So 20 years, 10 on each side. So
Well, surely the javelin thrower would know that, right, Harper?
in works, javelin. I'm a javelin dabbler.
Yeah.
I like to dabble
That's
in
what
my
she said.
javelin.
yeah,
yesterday.
a dabbler.
Yeah, she did say
So-
that. Yes.
This is a tough one.
Okay.
I wouldn't have expected
Okay.
the answer.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say.
Okay, go for it. Just put it out of my misery right now.
You have anything that you would like to?
Okay, well, I know track was created in like 776, like BC, like way back.
That sounds right.
But javelin, oh man, what would they even use? They'd probably use like a stick or like a bamboo stick. Or
and it's
something
just
like
the
that.
first time it appeared in the Olympics. So
In the
keep that in
Olympics.
mind.
Oh,
That-
gosh, I don't even know. This is gonna be
So
so,
it could be-
embarrassing.
yeah.
Definitely.
It's gonna be like 1876.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, sure. I don't
No
know.
way.
The correct answer was 1908.
Okay,
So
I
not
was
not far
actually
off.
pretty
Yeah,
close.
that's
pretty
why
good.
I was trying to give. I was wanted to
Oh,
give a
gosh,
pretty big
this is
range
so
because
embarrassing.
that was a tough question.
That's not
That
bad.
was
That's
tough.
Yeah.
hard. It's a tough one.
But
I would've
we're gonna
preferred
have
theirs.
we're gonna have there's gonna be a mix of both. So
Give them a hard one.
unfortunately, this one's got a chance for you guys. I didn't
What?
expect you guys to get the first one. So all right, here we go. Ready?
Oh boy.
Usain Bolt
You're my favorite guy.
is the only man ever to win the 100 meter, 200 meter, the 4x100 meter relay in a single Olympics. Is that statement true or false?
Wait.
I want to
That's
lean to true.
Okay.
That's just where my gut is
Yeah.
because I remember, was it 2012 where he just dominated?
Sure.
I think it's 2012 where he dominated.
It doesn't necessarily matter, but yeah.
I don't think it was Beijing in 08 because that was like
It was in
that
London
was Phelps. Yeah, I think that was when Phelps dominated.
Well, other people can dominate too.
Well, what I'm saying is like I think Phelps was the name for that Olympics.
I love
I think
this.
Usain was the name for the London Olympics.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh,
I
man.
think true.
So you just don't think anybody like way back in the day did it then?
all of the events.
I don't know. I don't want to go against you here, and then one of us is
You
mad
also
at
think
each
about the
other.
relay. The relay was insane.
Yeah, yeah.
They easily had the
The
best.
thing
relay.
is, a lot of people have done the 100 and won the relay. Like that happens a lot.
So the question was the first to do
100,
it?
200. No, is he the only man ever to win the 100, 200, 4x100 relay in the same Olympics?
I support your answer. Let's say he's the only one.
I think he did it. I don't know if he's the only one.
There's a 50-50
So now you're
chance
backtracking.
on this one. That's
All right,
not
guys.
fair.
I thought it was if he did it. I didn't know if it was
Oh, yeah, he
he was the only
definitely
one.
I need an answer.
What are you feeling?
My gut said true at the beginning. I just want
Let's
to
do
write it
that.
out.
Yeah.
True.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
The answer's false. There's another guy. I don't know his
Yeah.
name because I'm not that savvy in track and field, but that is incorrect. So,
Should know the name.
It wasn't
I
the
was-
year. It
sorry.
was just like in total.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Would you have gotten that one?
I think I would have guessed false. Yeah.
All right.
I probably wanted to, but I just didn't want to say it and then change your
No
mind, and then
argument.
you'd
It's
be
okay.
mad at me if it was
Well,
wrong.
It was 50-50.
You
We're
guys
good.
took over 30 seconds. So
All right, Avery. Here we go.
Oh, okay.
We didn't.
Question
time.
2.
Oh, no.
Question 2.
Okay.
As of the 2020 Olympic Games, which country owns the most track and field gold medals of all time?
Oh, my gosh.
Great question.
Quite.
Which country?
No multiple choice or anything.
No multiple choice. It's one of the
Wide
names
margin?
you would probably suspect.
Household name.
Yeah, that would be kind of the hint I would give
Guys,
there.
I didn't research this right before
Yeah.
here.
Well, you shouldn't have to research if it's your sport.
Okay.
This
Okay.
man, shots are being fired. For the record,
Shot
I would probably
first.
be like 0 for 4 in every one of these questions. So
Guys, I literally like can't think of the country's name. Is that really bad?
All right, you want me to give
I
you?
mean, if they're watching.
would you like to phone a friend of a hint here?
Yes.
You know the country's name.
No, I know. I do. I know it. I know it. It's
Okay.
here. No, I know it. It's here.
That's the only hint.
I would
give.
assume it's on Earth.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Cool.
You guys are super
don't have to know a
Good
ton
observation.
of geography to
That's my partner.
have an idea. So
All right.
Where's Bolt from?
Jamaica. I'll even tell you that.
I
He's from
want to
Jamaica.
go with Jamaica.
is that your final answer?
You sound really confident.
I'm not confident. Okay, yeah, sure. Why not? I'm already embarrassing myself anyway, so.
That answer is incorrect. The United States
No
is
way.
is the
Oh, for
answer
sure.
of gold medals.
as of recently, maybe.
As of 2020
Okay.
Olympics. Yeah.
I'm thinking,
Well,
I'm
that was
thinking way
leading
back.
into 2020, right?
I think that was after 2020, but
Oh.
as of the 2020. So
Oh
like,
my gosh, no.
I don't know.
way.
Either way, I think the answer is the same because when I looked
Well,
it up,
go
it was like a
US.
big
Proud
gap.
of you
So.
guys. I'm sorry I doubted you.
All right, boys, this is a hard one for you guys. So this will leave the door open,
Yeah, we got it.
but maybe not.
Wait,
How-
if we get it right, we win, right?
Yeah, the door, unless we do double points, which is always on the table with me as the host.
Oh
Okay,
my
No.
gosh.
here we go. How high are the hurdles in the men's 110 meter?
Oh yeah.
In inches is your
In inches?
in inches
I'm
is your.
assuming we have no range.
There's no range. This is
Yeah,
a tough
of course.
question.
Yeah.
It's gotta be on
close
the dot.
laptop.
Got to be on the dot.
Okay,
Come on, Joe.
so 12 inches in a foot. I'm thinking it's got to come
Great
up.
start.
It's like in between
I think
4
it's
and
up
5.
to like right here usually. So like
Yeah, that's like
36, maybe 40.
5.
No, 40 is probably high. 25. So
It's like 4.5, 5 feet.
We also do math here too.
Yeah, we are a very wide variety of a podcast.
Right? 4.5 to 5 feet.
focus.
so maybe 50.
I
have right
yeah,
now.
a lot of chemistry.
I might want to go a little higher.
Higher.
I would say like.
All right,
No,
boys.
it's not 5 feet tall.
I
All
don't,
right,
think
boys.
it's, I don't think it's 5 on the dot.
I don't
Got to
think it's
start
4
wrapping
either.
up here.
I think it's 3 something. Let's go
Yeah,
40.
wait.
3?
Yeah, dude.
No, it's higher than 3.
All right.
All right. You think they're jumping over
Lock
a
in an
4-foot
answer.
person every
I
time?
think
All right. I need an
comes
answer,
up,
boys. I need
Think
you.
about that, bro.
I think it comes up to like.
Let's go 40.
No, I think it's too low.
I'm going with Harper. Harper,
Say
I
40.
need you to give an answer,
I think
and
we'll
I
go
need
at
it right
least
now.
50.
Please
Oh,
don't.
wow.
I need that answer.
Wow.
Really?
This to close the door.
Why don't you just like meet in the middle?
I have to be right on the dot.
Yeah, it's tough question.
Say 45 then.
This to close the door. Harper.
Let's say 48
I'm
because that would
allowing
be
you
4 feet right on the dot.
All right.
All right, we got it.
Go with it, man.
Because I don't think it's
Why
60.
not?
Hey, no more
Go for it.
collaboration.
Or maybe it's 4.
No more collaboration.
I'm going to go in between. I'm going to go 54.
54. Is that your final answer?
I don't know.
Bro, that is insane.
Oh man.
Dorman, if you'd
That's
like to
5.5
give
feet.
hey, I'm gonna
Huh? That's
hey,
4.5.
huh?
4.5.
Okay.
Still too
Dorman,
much.
if do you
It's too
agree with
much,
that
man.
answer?
I know.
Okay, then what's your final answer? This will be the final answer.
Okay. My final answer is 40 inches.
40 inches is the final answer. And it's 42. So
Okay,
close,
I knew that.
actually.
I actually did
That
know
was-
that one, like confidently
Okay.
too.
Great
Wow,
work,
I
you
was
guys.
way over.
Honestly.
Way overshooting.
Honestly, really good work. Like I
It
didn't
only
think that
took
you guys
like 3
Thank you.
minutes.
that
but-
would be
Hey, buddy,
worry.
listen. I thought it was. Like, I just thought it was higher.
all right. So
crazy.
Avery,
Yeah.
this is your opportunity. How do you feel right now? Before
You
I
know,
ask you this last
honestly,
question?
my hands are sweating. I've never been so nervous about something in my life. But I'm ready.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
Fire
good for
away.
you. This is a multiple choice answer.
Oh, great. Okay.
So this is an opportunity.
yeah, give it to me.
All right. Here we go. Any reaction time faster than blank is considered to be a false start. And here are your options.
Oh gosh.
1/1000th of a second,
Okay.
1/100th of a second, 1/10th of a second, or 2/10ths of a second. Which
First
one
A.
is you're going with A?
Yeah, you can't false start. You just can't do it.
Is that your final answer?
I don't run. Yeah. Oh no.
That is
that's
incorrect.
wrong. Oh gosh.
1/10th of a second. If you're
1/10?
anywhere less than 1/10, it's considered a false start, which is really interesting to me.
Wow.
So, or like anything like, within 0.1, you have false started. So there's
it
some
would be
science behind it I read. It was really interesting. But
Okay. Yeah.
So,
I should do my research.
one
too.
I wouldn't have
Okay.
got, but
Those
Maybe.
are some tough questions.
Those were really hard.
But though, there are some
Yeah.
fun questions, too.
yeah, I tried to make some multiple choice, but like I said, I would have probably, I mean, I think I probably would have missed every single question I asked you guys. So that's why I'm the host and not the contestant here.
But there was one answered correct.
That is correct. The high
And
high
they
it
stakes.
won
was not mine.
It was the first one, and we won it.
Guys,
go.
my research did not consist of any of the questions that we asked.
You know, it's a
So-
pop quiz.
Well, I didn't research with you.
I don't know what research means
Oh,
Oh,
it's just
when it comes to
school?
track
No.
and field.
it's fine, guys. I'll do better. I'll do
No,
better.
here's the thing.
Next
This
year.
That doesn't take away from
is a really good icebreaker, obviously. You know, get things going, and now we can talk about your story. And what better way to break the ice than just beat you in a little trivia about track and field? So,
Well said, Norman.
Whatever. I'm a competitive person, so if I'm salty,
Yeah,
Sorry.
we're competitive. We're a competitive group for sure.
Well,
So.
let's just remember that Jesus tells us to forgive. So let's
I'm
have
not
that.
mad.
Let's have that in mind during the rest of this
I
conversation.
gotta forgive myself for
That's the
such
biggest
lack
thing.
of knowledge in my own sport. It's fine. I'll get over it.
All right.
Yeah, well,
Cool. I'm good to go.
awesome. Well, that was fun
for some.
for some of us. Let's get into your story, though, Avery. You're a freshman here at GCU.
I am.
You obviously have done track your whole life, and you mentioned a little bit of that already. But why are you still doing it, and why are you doing it at GCU? Can you kind of explain to us how God brought you to this point?
Yeah, for sure. So I grew up in a very competitive family. I am number 3 of 4 kids. So really big family. I have 2 older brothers and a little sister who are also super competitive. We all do sports. For as long as I can remember, that was my life. Every single weekend, we'd be traveling for some sort of something, whether it was competitive skiing that I did when I was way back and
Very cool.
we taught, and or it was soccer. I was a big soccer player. Same with the whole family. Yeah, really every weekend we were out and about playing sports. So I grew up really on the field and on the courts and wherever it may be. So sports has always been a part of my life. But at the ripe age of 11 years old, I had my first injury. And so before that, I was not really like big into my faith or anything like that. I just, like I said, was traveling every single weekend. So church was never like a priority. I grew up in a Christian household, though, with really good people, really good family, really good parents. And, but church was never something that we like made a priority, because I was always playing sports, and that was exactly who I was. I was the soccer player, and that was like my usernames on Instagram and everything used to be like Soccer Girl Avery. So if that still exists somewhere, I'm deeply apologize. But that was my weekends. That was my days and my life. And I was playing soccer at 11, and I tore my ACL. And at 11 years old, that is really unheard of. Sure,
Yeah.
injuries happen, but having to go through a full ACL reconstruction at 11 years old, especially with no real foundation for my faith, that was, my weight coach asked me, like, how did you do it? And while it's been a long time since I was 11, I honestly have no idea. It was rough, and definitely shaped me to be the person that I am today, and had my surgery the day before my 12th birthday.
Wow.
So a birthday in the hospital. It was actually
Yeah.
really great. I got lots of cake and goodies and stuff like that. But yeah, I unfortunately did have to stop soccer because I went back in my very first game back. I actually partially tore my other ACL.
Wow.
So I got a big old knee brace and just went back in my very first game, busted the other one, and so I had my surgery right away, and spent about like 3 years-ish on a partially torn ACL in my right leg. And did rehab. I honestly don't remember any of my rehab, to be honest. I was so young that it was just kind of like, you did it, your parents had to do it for you kind of thing. But yeah, I remember it just being horrible, like this person that I thought I was got completely stripped away from me. I was this soccer player, I was this athlete, and suddenly like every question is, how are your knees? You know, how's your rehab going? And suddenly it's like, I don't want to be known for my knees, but still to this day I find that that's the questions that get frequently asked for me. But I continued to play sports because I couldn't just sit and play jacks, or that's what people told, the little bouncy ball with the that's called jacks, right?
I think so, yeah.
I think so. Okay, yeah.
I didn't get what you were referencing at first.
Yeah,
but
like
yeah,
the little,
no.
where you bounce the ball and then you got to pick up the little.
Yeah,
that
Okay.
one.
Yeah.
And so I continued on, and unfortunately, I was jumping pole vaulting in the Junior Olympics because my older younger brother, is a pole vaulter, and it's a non-contact sport. So I decided to go ahead and try it, and I fell in love with it. I wasn't very great, but I loved it, and it wasn't something that would really hurt my knee, so I could do it. And I was in the Junior Olympics and completely tore my right ACL on like the jump before the actual competition began. And I was in probably 6th grade, I think, and so there's zero competition. Like I was probably the only competitor, and so I never, got to continue on or anything like that. But, I now had my left ACL reconstructed at the age of 11, and then now I'm 13, and I have it on my right one, and I'm getting that redone. And so here I am with two new kind of knees, and I have still scars all over my legs from all the muscles and ligaments and tendons they use to repair kind of the old ACL and take it out and make the new one. And so, unfortunately, God closed the door of soccer, which sometimes I still am like, man, I wish I could go play it. But I'm really, truly grateful now looking back. But really to have kind of no faith for myself, I didn't know what to do. I fell into this kind of pit of losing your identity, and I had no idea who I was supposed to be. And having no idea, I blamed God, which is not fair at all. Why would I blame God for something that I know nothing of? I blamed him for stripping me of my purpose when that's really just not even. I didn't even know like how I was supposed to have my purpose. Which isn't fair. But through that, I also found God, which is kind of strange. I was just randomly volunteering at my church during spring break, and I just talked to like the head pastor, and I had no idea who he was, and he was like, I like a photo that you took. Can you send it to me so I can post it? And I did, and then he learned my name, and he used it in the service the week after.
Okay.
Wow.
And from that moment on, I felt convicted. I was like, I need to go to church. Like, what if he uses my name in a sermon? What if somebody is like, who's that? I want to meet her. And so quickly from that moment at the end of 6th grade, I joined a small group, and that completely escalated to me joining the worship team. And I still knew nothing about the Lord and really, quite frankly, didn't want to. But something was just like, you need to be here.
Cool.
And so there I was. And I was consistent. I went, and it wasn't until about 8th grade that I was like, yeah, this is it. This is where I'm supposed to be. I still don't know, but I felt convicted and got baptized in 8th grade, and have no regrets since then.
That's awesome.
And all throughout high school, I still competed in track because it was really the only sport I could do, but I dabbled in some other things, and really was just building strength, still am, and making sure my knees are okay. And yeah, I was getting recruited through high school, and COVID unfortunately hit, so I did a lot of recruiting myself. I reached out to like 80 coaches or something like that, and I just was like, why not? Like, I can just send emails and see what they say, and I got a lot of responses back, but the coach here really pursued me. And I felt like I didn't want to come to Arizona because it's hot.
Yeah, we know that.
It's hot. No. And my one requirement was go somewhere where it's cold.
Wow.
That's
and
funny.
Here
That's
I am, like my mom would be like, yeah, she wanted to go somewhere cold, and she didn't even want to go tour at GCU. I truly didn't. And once I got here and met the coach and some of the other athletes, I was like, yep, I'm not even applying to another school. So I just stopped and I was like, this is it. This is where I'm supposed to be.
Very cool.
Not only is it a Christian university, which was super important to me all throughout high school,
Right.
but just really great people. So yeah, and now I had my third ACL reconstruction. I think I retore my first ACL probably at the state meet my senior year in high school.
Yeah.
I don't know. Somewhere in those 5 years, I tore it again and just spent my time on a torn ACL. And so I had it redone, and so unfortunately I'm a medical redshirt this year for my first year of college. But it's been great. So here I am,
Cool.
post surgery, number 3.
Obviously, like, I'm so sorry to hear about your ACLs, and my dad has torn both of his ACLs multiple times as well, and I know how much of a toll that can play on you. But I do think it's also interesting how it happened to take away something that was one of your biggest treasures in soccer, that at the end of the day is very worldly, you know, and it did lead to God one way or
Truly.
another. And shoot, man, I mean, I'm sure you're like, why'd you have to do it this way? Why couldn't you find me
Absolutely.
in a different way? But it's just, it speaks to your testimony. It's a powerful testimony, and it shows that God can get to different people in different ways. And, I'm sure you have peace with that now.
Yeah, now I do, and I didn't at the time. I was confused. I felt broken.
Absolutely.
And I was angry with God, and I didn't know him, but I was angry with him, which still looking back, like, again, isn't even fair, right, of me to do in the slightest bit. But I was angry and lost, and he was like, I'm closing that door so you can come find me.
Yeah.
And so that's exactly what he did, and I, couldn't be more grateful for it now.
I really relate with your story. I had a back injury my sophomore year of high school, and I was swimming at the time. I had just come off a season of water polo, and Harper was a big part of my life growing up, and he knew how much I loved sports and just playing every day, and how much really of an identity and purpose I felt in playing sports. And I had that all taken away for a year, and I really relate with how you were saying you were questioning God, or being like, God, why is this happening? I had a very similar experience, but ultimately through those tough moments and trials, I have found to look back on just how God was there, and it was actually for my benefit that stuff happened. And I could, 5 years ago, me saying that wouldn't make sense. Future David saying that, like,
right.
Because I was mad. I was like, what is my purpose? Just to lay on this bed?
Right.
Like, is that what I'm here to do? And I quickly realized there's something deeper to that, and what I was living prior wasn't really much of a purpose at all, and it can be taken away just like that.
Yeah.
So I really relate with your story there.
Yeah, for sure. You don't like realize until you're in that moment, like how truly it sucks. And it's, people say like, oh, it could be worse. And yes, it could be worse. But not having a faith, and then your identity getting stripped away from you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It feels like it's the end of the world. Truly. You're like, you don't know what to do.
Yeah,
So.
and it's so cool to see both of you guys' new perspectives on this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're talking about something that a lot of people would find devastating. Both of you did at those times in your life, but you're now being able to look back on it, be like, thank you, God, for taking that into my life. Thank you for revealing yourself to me during that time, because maybe you wouldn't have seen him clearly if it wasn't for those injuries,
Definitely.
right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so I think that's so cool as Christians, we're able to look back on hard times and really realize that God did that for a reason.
Yeah. He
So-
promises to never give us a trial that we can't overcome.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So that's something that I, of course, in the moment I was like, yep, this is it. I don't know what to do now. But now looking back, I'm like, thank you, God, for holding on to me. Like, truly.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I know you don't want to talk about your knees. You don't want to get questions about it, but I do think it's interesting because I know you've had a more recent knee
Yeah.
injury. How, now that you've been saved for years on end at this point, and you now have a different knee injury, but you are saved.
Yeah.
And God's a bigger part of your life. How have you differently gone about this rehab process?
Oh, it's been so different. I mean, like I don't remember the first two. It was pretty much like 4 years of my life. I don't really remember those times just because they were like sucked, and I just don't want to remember.
Sure.
But the impact God has made on this recovery truly makes so much of a difference. Not only did I heal faster, so a typical ACL surgery is 9 to 12 months, and I got cleared at 7 months,
Wow.
which is just baffling even
Yeah.
to say it out loud. Like, it's way early. And it's taken me 12 months for the first two. So really that's much earlier. And I feel stronger than I ever have been, not only with my faith, but physically too. And just the power of prayer, I think. I mean, I also have a plethora of friends who are Christian who did pray for me. And not only did I pray for the hard times, I prayed in the hard times too, which is something that I would never do before. But just God gave me so much strength to just keep going. Like,
That's right.
I had to do physical therapy every day coming into college, and I had a big old blocked knee brace, and I couldn't really walk that well. And now I'm like running around, and it's when I first came here, if I realized that I was already cleared in pole vaulting and throwing javelin, like right now, it wouldn't even be real. I was told that I would get to be cleared April 28th, which is the last day of school. So
Wow.
Yeah, actually.
yeah, so I got cleared much earlier than that. And so really it exceeded my expectations, and it's not like I was praying to get cleared faster. I really wasn't. I was praying like, whenever your time, whenever I'm physically ready.
Right.
It's not my time, it's yours. But he's really blessed me with giving me the whole last month and a half to start doing my sports again when I didn't think I'd be able to till next September, the next school year started. So it's been a huge blessing. And I mean, just the power of also the community,
Yeah.
but really prayer and being saved is just, you have somebody else to rely on.
Yeah, and I think something super powerful that you just said about God, let your will be done, not mine.
Yeah.
Those words in the midst of trials are I think
Yeah.
the most powerful words that we as believers can say.
Yeah.
People may not know what we're going through. People may not know our pain, but He does, and He knows that even the worst things in this life, He can turn for
Yeah.
good, the best things of this life. And Easter wasn't too long ago, and obviously we celebrate Jesus's death and resurrection. The death wasn't the end.
Yeah.
And so for believers, this life isn't the end, but even in this life, trials and tribulations aren't the end.
Yeah.
There's
Right.
injuries,
Yeah.
but that isn't the end.
Yeah.
There's a greater purpose because we know that God is for us, and if He's for us, who could be against
Who
us?
can be against
Amen.
us?
Exactly.
Amen. Yeah, seriously. I think one thing too, when you said that, like, your will be done. I think for me personally, through this, I have met so many people. Like, I wouldn't know Harper if I didn't get injured, and I wouldn't know all the people that I've met in the training room, all the people who have been like,
Sure.
I see you in here every day. And, I walk by people and they're like, I don't know you, but like, I've seen you.
You're
And
in
I'm
here all
like,
the time.
Yeah, they're like, you're in here all the time. And
Yeah.
truly, I mean, I have made some of my best friends through that. And so
Sure.
God placed me right where I need to be at the exact moment. And of course, in the moment, I'm like, this sucks. It'd be easier if I just quit.
Yeah.
Right.
But no, He gave me the strength to keep going. And even on the hard days when I was like, I'm not going to PT, I'm not doing it, He was like, you're doing it, go.
right.
So I did, and here I am.
We do talk about this a lot, and because it's something that with injuries it happens in sports, but just the simple power of reflecting back on those tough experiences, and just it should give so much hope to believers and to even to people that are just right on the edge thinking about this God thing, right? Like, you might be going through something horrible, something that you don't think is fair, and there's just story after story, testimony after testimony of Christians that have gone through those same things, and afterwards they're thankful that they went through those things. That should boggle some people's minds.
Absolutely.
And give them so much hope that, wait a minute, everything that's happening is happening for a reason, and it's going to still stink, and we're still going to have those days where it just doesn't make sense for us, but somewhere down the line it is going to make sense, and we're going to actually be thankful that this moment happened.
Yeah.
I think that should give you so much hope to everybody watching, and I appreciate you adding to that thread of
course.
of stories, really.
Yeah. And another cool thing is God allows us to see that, like I know both me and you wouldn't have thought those moments would be like defining moments in our life of like,
Yeah.
how could God use this? And he's shown that and revealed that to us. And I know you guys both have those moments as well. We all do. And that's the really cool thing is God didn't have to show,
True.
He didn't have to be like, this happened for this reason. And I'm sure there's more reasons that we don't even know.
Can't comprehend.
Exactly. But the fact that we have that peace with it is something that isn't of this world, and nobody from this world could really understand. Just the peace that we carry as believers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's something that you kept touching on the last few times about the people that God's put in your life this year. And
Yeah.
you mentioned to us yesterday that you're super thankful for the community you've had, community that you really haven't had up to this point.
Yeah.
There's a verse I have, and then I want to hear your thoughts. It's in Matthew 18, verse 20. It says, for where 2 or 3 gather in my name, there I am with them. So what does that make you think of, and how does that make you reflect on this year?
Yeah. Well, that's actually one of my favorite verses, and I have the opportunity to lead worship, and that's always my go-to. But I have never had a small group of girls really that I could confide in and feel safe and just welcomed by. And that's something that I was really, really trying to get. But at the end of the first semester, I just kind of gave up on that. I was like, it's just not going to happen. But then again, God, being him, he placed a phenomenal group of girls in my life. And they make me so happy, so excited to go out and have fun and do things, and also have a space to talk with godly women, where I can share my good times, my bad times.
That's right.
And just really the importance of having people around you who love you and support you. There's nothing like that. There's nothing better, and we are called to be in community. Really, we're not meant to do life alone, and that's something that I did. I tried to do life alone, and it did not go well.
Can't.
It didn't go well at all. But now I'm just truly grateful for those people who will not judge, who will not love me any less if, I mess up, because, hey, I'm human. I mess up all the time. Don't we all?
Yeah.
But yeah, just having people who I can go to is just, it's something I've never had, and it makes me just want to be here and press into those people and love on them and have them love on me too. So
Keep it going.
Love it.
Keep it going. Like we've talked about it also in prior episodes, just how important studies are, and small groups to confide in and put your full trust in. And, because there are people for everybody on this earth that are there for a reason, and that are selfless enough to give their time and give their opinion. And the thing is, the more people you get to know, they've been through things that you're going through, and just simple conversations are just so big, and God's just smiling when he sees those conversations being made.
Yeah. And something that's just on my heart as we talk about this is about how there's lies out there that the enemy will try to make you believe is that you have to do it on your own, or that nobody is like you, or
Nobody
that what you're
cares.
going
Yeah.
through, nobody cares, nobody can relate. And that's the furthest thing from the truth.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, God's there, and He'll try to convince you that He's not, even in the hardships. And it's not true. It's not true. And for community, like, God will place people into your life that you could just never imagine. I've seen it firsthand in my life, and I know everyone in here has seen it. And it may be hard being vulnerable with people. It may, not be easy, but like the reward that God will give you for just being vulnerable, being open,
Yeah.
it changes everything. And community, like you said, it's not. There's literally right from the beginning in Genesis, it is not good for man to be alone, is what God
Yeah.
said.
We're not supposed to be alone.
Yeah, and so, like, get involved. And this is coming from a person who would rather do anything at the time than talk. Like, I was just a very, very much introvert, and I struggled with trying to, make friends in classes, doing these kind of things. I was just, I thought, nobody would really care. People are going to judge me here and this, that, and this, And, when you find that right community, and you will, because God will place people into your life, like we said, that He's made for that purpose of just carrying each other and lifting each other. There's nothing more powerful. It goes beyond friendship into brothers and sisters, and to people who can relate with the macro that you're going through, the big things and the small things. And community changes everything. So I really would love for everybody watching to, if you don't have that safe place, of course, your time with God is so important.
That's right.
But we're also called to dwell in community. And if that's a church, go to church. If that's a Bible study group, make a Bible study group. It may not be easy the first few times, but God will work in incredible ways, and promise you won't regret it.
Yeah.
And that's like you're saying, God's going to make it work. He's the glue to spiritual community, right? He's living inside all of us, and He's the one that shows us how to love, how to care, how to be there for others. And so that's what drives spiritual community. It's all founded on Him, and then He's just working through all of us that we can work through each other, and that's how, zoom it out even farther, that's how we reach others in this world.
Yeah.
That's a big thing.
Right? How we relate, how we be there for others, because it's like we've talked about before. An easy way to get people into church isn't always by forcing it down their throat.
Totally.
It's about being there for them, having those conversations, reaching a hand out. And what's a better way to do that than start with the community?
Yeah. Oh, for real. And I think there's a difference between friends who are non-believers, which are, great to have. Like, I have friends that are non-believers too. Fantastic people. But there's a difference with being in a group of believers. Like, you can have so much fun. You can go play pickup basketball. Like, I was playing for like 3 hours the other night, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's 11. I need to go. But also having those deep and vulnerable moments, and I'm not a very vulnerable person. It's harder for me to open up. I'll do it, but it's harder. But truly having good, solid Christian friends who do invite you and give you a safe space is just the best thing. So
Amen.
I mean, I have some amazing friends back home that I love dearly, and I just don't know them like I know my friends here.
Yeah.
And it's crazy, and I wish I did. And maybe it's an age thing. Realistically, it's a God thing. And that's not necessarily their fault. It's not necessarily my fault. It just wasn't he wasn't the biggest part of our friendship, right? And when it does become the reason that you guys are friends, that maybe not the reason, but a thing that you can go to in that friendship, how deep of a relationship you can make, man. It's amazing. And it, as David said, is more than a friendship, which is cool.
Yeah. And I think building off that point, almost in a different way of looking at that, when you accept Christ into your life, there are going to be some sacrifices. And like you said, that could come down to friendships, right? And it is very important, like we're saying, to surround yourself with spiritual community. And sometimes that means, laying some of your past friendships, past self in the past, right? And walking forward with God, walking forward with the people who are going to lift you up in Christ's name.
And you'll find that out of maybe a group of friends that if you do make that sacrifice, they're going to notice. And some of them will just say, I'm out. But some of them will say, okay, I still want to be your friend though.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Yeah, why?
What's different now?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
there's
and that
a
plants
difference
seeds.
there's a difference to people who, at least in my life, I've seen make the change, choose God and put Him first, and the difference that it makes in their life and the different people they are is just it's evident. You can see it. You're like, I see Jesus in you, and there's nothing better than that. Yeah,
And when you put God in everything, God will be in everything.
true.
Cool.
And like it's been amazing. It's not been easy. There's certainly like Jesus says, picking up your cross. Like every day, right? And denying yourself and following Him.
That's right.
Some days it's hard, you know. I can't imagine what the pain that Jesus went through carrying His cross, right?
Yeah.
But fortunately, we have an incredible opportunity by doing that to make an impact on other people that we love, that we are friends with, but maybe they don't know the Lord. And by leading by example, we have that opportunity to make an impact in their lives. And as believers, what is more impactful and more important to us than leading others to Christ?
Amen.
There's nothing.
It's nothing.
So when we think of it that way and just doing what you know is right for the kingdom, God will use that, and there's nothing. Think about it. Everything in this world will fade, but that won't, because that's eternal life right there.
Cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, as we are wrapping up, Avery, it's so obvious how well-spoken, well-versed you are, and the places that you're going to go are insurmountable. We're excited to see it.
Oh, yeah.
But if you just want to leave lasting words for the viewers, and a lot of them are younger audience, and a lot of people want to be athletes, and they already are. They're younger athletes, and they're coming up. If you just had a word of advice for Christian athletes that are making their way into this world and about to make a difference, what would you give advice to?
I would say keep going. Even when you think you can't do it, maybe take a second and ask God if this is where you should be, because it very well may not be. You may be in your sport specifically to reach somebody else. And that's what I believe I was put into soccer for. I was there to bring somebody else to Christ. And that's what I'm doing in track as well, is to bring other people. And even if it's just one person, like we were talking about this, if it's just one person, then it's worth it. Yeah. And so I think praying is just key to everything. You can't pray too much. You honestly can't pray too long, anything like that. Like it could be 30 seconds or it could be like 3 hours, whatever you want. But just praying for God to reveal Himself and reveal in your life, if that's where you're supposed to be at that time. Because I think God says yes, no, or not right now. And so the not right nows are the hardest to kind of deal with. But His plan for you in your life, He makes it evident if you're willing to open up your heart and your mind.
Amen.
And so, I don't know, if you're struggling with that, turn to God. And if you don't have that, then it's really hard. It's really easy to find. It's really easy to find. Truly, there's a book, there's songs, there's podcasts like
people.
this. Yeah, lots of people in your life right around the corner that are wanting to reach out to you.
Yep. Just knock, and the door will be open.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and it's like you're saying, understanding that God's will, His plan, His purpose for your life is so much better than yours.
Yeah.
If you put out all your plans, all your agendas for your life, and just give God room to work, let Him use your life as a canvas for whatever He sees best fit, then man, you're going to be surprised.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hallelujah. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on, Avery.
Of course. Thanks for having
Sounds
me.
like you potentially have up to 4 more years here at GCU, and that
Oh, yeah.
means not only a lot of success in track and field, but also hopefully a lot of lives changed through you. So
Thank you.
For sure.
Yeah.
keep
I
it
hope
going.
so.
We're excited for you.
I would
you, guys.
I would like to ask one question before we.
He always does this. He always
Every
does this.
I mean,
time.
it's like I don't know. Me and you need to have
Count
a
it.
better like signal, like because we have to end with this
It's just
question.
a tradition.
Oh gosh.
So it's not my my traditional question.
The Harper
but
special.
I'm gonna do a little hybrid one. Okay, so you're not on the swim team, so I can't ask you who's your favorite teammate because I just can't. But who's your favorite team outside of track to interact with?
Oh
Out of
my
all
gosh.
the teams on
Are you
campus,
serious?
and let's just say there's been more swimmers on this podcast than anyone else. So
Okay, full teams. I can't say I know a full team, like the whole roster. But there are really great people on all of the teams, and I'm blessed to know as many people as I do. Definitely the swim team. Shout out you guys. You guys are so awesome. Everybody that I've met. Some of the baseball guys that I've gotten to meet, you guys are truly awesome too. As well as my softball girls. You guys are awesome. So if there's one team, I can't even answer that.
I mean, you can.
Again, that's the
Great
right
answer. Yeah.
I mean,
can't answer
technically,
that.
you can.
There is amazing people all around this campus and on every team. Yeah.
True
You
that.
guys are all beautiful and
That's
wonderful,
the correct
though.
answer. I'm just testing you. So.
No, there's beauty and wonderful people on every single team. And if I've met you, you're beautiful and you're wonderful. So
Good answer. And hopefully we have a lot of them on here at some
Yeah.
point.
Yep.
Avery, once again, another awesome guest. Thanks so much for coming on. That's going to wrap up today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you next time here on the Super Bowl podcast. Peace.
peace.
Peace.